What's up, what's up? It's your boy CoreyB. So I want to talk about building wealth, right? So particularly I want to talk about the concept of how to become wealthy today during this recession, during the economic climate that we're in right now, and how do you become wealthy? I was recently featured on a buddy's podcast. It was I don't know, it was probably about almost 2 months ago. But it was really incredible because one of the great things that me and Carlos talked about, we talked about, we caught up a little bit about what he's been doing and what I've been doing and things like that. And he was telling me something. We talked about marriage, we talked about life, family, and growing our businesses and things like that. And Carlos mentioned something to me. He mentioned how him and Katie had worked really, really hard, and they'd gotten to these levels of just this. They've had such a breakthrough in their communication and being able to make building their finances, like the structure of their budget. Like they're very disciplined in saving money and budgeting and making sure that they're 100% transparent with one another, which is incredible. And it was interesting because he told me, he was like, well, I just haven't figured out how to make more money yet, but I figured out how to save it. And what my response was that I felt that he's light years ahead of so many others, because most people struggle figuring out how to save money. People make money every day. People are always making money. Most people, we make money and we have nothing to show for. I was that guy. I remember being young, working 3 jobs just because I had nothing better to do. Working 3 jobs. And making good money too. I haven't made minimum wage since I was 17. There's all these people in our society right now complaining about what minimum wage should be. Man, I haven't made minimum wage since I was 17. Before I was 17, before I got my first legit job, I was always making more than minimum wage when it was under the table work, when people were just paying me cash. I only worked minimum wage for about 4 months and quickly got a raise. And I've never worked minimum wage again. But like I said, I was making good money. I had no bills. I had nothing to show for it. I can tell you right now that, the steps that I've taken in my life, I've got little to show for what I worked back then. Being able to save money and be structured and disciplined in your finances is something that most people miss. It's just incredibly challenging. It's incredibly difficult. Even people who are good at finance and good at personal finance and good at budgeting, they struggle with their own because their feelings and their emotions get in the way, and they struggle sticking with it. They make exceptions to what they say. They say, I'm going to do A, B, and C. But it'll be okay. They even go with the Dave Ramsey plan, and I'm going to set up these envelopes and put cash in each envelope. And then they're like, but I could totally borrow from that other envelope right now because this is really cool. It's like, it's incredible how people get so, like I said, they're driven by their emotions. They're driven by, and we all do it. Like I said, I think I'm way better now than I was before. I've learned a lot over the years. Like I said, I'm proud of my boy Carlos and his wife Katie, how they've grown together, and me and Kimberly have grown together. When you're married, when you're single, that's something that a lot of single people struggle with. But oddly enough, some people, when they're single, it's easier because they don't have that emotion that they want to spoil their spouse, or they want to do this, they want to take them out and do that. It's like they're like, it's okay. I mean, it's just me. I can save. I can eat cheap, I can live cheap, I can do this, I can do that, or whatever. But then when you've got that person that you're in love with, you're nuts about it, it's like so easy to want to do something fun with them, build these memories, but you can do it frugally. You can do that without breaking your breaking your wallet, you know what I'm saying, and blowing your nest egg, and building that future together is so much more important. And, scrimping and saving and finding ways to be frugal, I mean, that can be a bonding thing also. Anyways, I'm a little off track here. This is just something, like I said, I think it plays into it, though. I think being able to manage your money and save and be frugal and stuff, that also plays into how you build your wealth. Because ultimately, people come into money. People have, done incredible things with investments. They struck it big, and then they have nothing left over. I've seen it with athletes, movie stars. They'll get this huge payday, and then they'll have nothing to show for it. They'll mismanage their taxes. They'll mismanage their budget. Lottery winners rarely have anything to show afterwards, and it's because they don't know what they're doing with it. So I think knowing how to manage your money is crucial. Knowing how to budget, knowing how to be savvy and frugal with what you have. Remember, you worked hard for that money. There's a Jay-Z quote that I've taught to the boys, and Corey reminds me about it all the time because he loves, calculating his money and saving up his little money. And can I do a chore? Can I earn $1? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I keep talking to him about that, talking about, can I do a chore for $0.25? Can I do a chore for $1? I'm like, man, you gotta ask for a little more. But anyways, I'm proud of him that he's ambitious and he's wanting to do that. But the thing is I remind him, he reminds me now. I taught it to him about a year ago, and he reminds me from time to time. He's like, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. When you want to splurge on something, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. You're sitting here saying, well, man, I want that new whatever, you know what I'm saying, that fancy new, and it costs $500. I got $650 in the bank. I can make that $150 stretch for a little while. Really? Nah, you can't afford it. If you can't afford to turn it over twice and still have your finances in order, then that means you can't afford it. Okay, again, I'm still stuck on that. Man, I feel like I'm harping on this management and finance and things like that. But what it comes down to is there's ways to make money through this recession. There's ways to make money. Okay, you got to be innovative. You got to be creative. On my last video, I hope you tuned in. If you haven't, go back and watch it. I talked about me and my buddy Sean, how we worked together to grow my business, grow his business throughout the pandemic. The pandemic, we saw lots of things, and me and him got creative. We got innovative. Oddly enough, it was my buddy Doug who hit me up one day, and he's like, Corey, I see you've been putting all this content online. He's like, you could really be doing it different right now. And he planted a seed in me, and then that grew into something else. I mean, see, that's the thing too, is sometimes you might have ideas, you might get creative, you might think of things. Maybe it's not for you, maybe it's for somebody else though. So be willing to put things out there. It's going to come back around. And that's not a karma thing. That's just a reality thing. Things, if you continue to put positive, like, reinforcement, good energy, and just like, man, I feel like I'm coming off the wrong way. It's not a cosmos thing. It's not a karma thing. It's you attract what you put out. It's real. It's real. So if you're going to put out, if you're going to help people build their business up, build their lives up, then you're going to have people who want to instill that in you as well, who want to be there to support you and help you grow and thrive as well. And that's what we ultimately need to be doing. Now, with that being said, there's so many different ways. I mean, you can create things. You can create content. You can, there's, it sounds weird, but there's new inventions all the time. We see them, Shark Tank. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but you should. Tune in once in a while. Just for the enjoyment of seeing what other people are doing out there. They take things that they see and they build a new business out of it. People have opened restaurants. People have, and some of these things seem so stretched, right? They seem like, how is that? That's way over here, and I'm way over here. How do I get there where I can open a restaurant or build something? my cousin, actually Kimberly's cousin, had their own, market in this flea market, and it was cottonwood. They sold country stuff. It was cool. I mean, they sold like, Western jeans, boots, jackets. They sold, man, she was big in jewelry. She had all kinds of jewelry, plethoras of kinds. Okay, well, when the pandemic hit, everything got shut down during the lockdown. She was like, she had to take all that stuff to her house where she used to keep it on site. You got to take it to her house. And then she hit me up. She was like, hey, you do eBay, right? And I was like, yeah, man, I've been doing eBay since like 2001. This is when I first launched my first eBay store. I started selling on eBay. Okay, and so I helped her launch, her and her husband, I helped them launch their eBay store, and they're killing it. I mean, they're crushing it. And it sounds like something, oh yeah, can you really? Dude, they're making a living off of eBay. My uncle's been making a living off of eBay since 98. Maybe 96, something like that. Yeah, it was like 97, 98, because, yeah. So it's like, there's so much that can be done, and it can be something simple, it can be something big, it can be something life-changing, like starting your own restaurant or open your own, mechanic shop. There's the possibilities are truly endless. I try to instill this into my daughter and her husband constantly. He's learned an incredible amount of skills by being able to work at the job that he's been working at. He's been doing on-job training and learning, and the man is gonna be on a different level, real soon. Even though he didn't go to school for this, he's doing on-the-job training, and I mean, he's working on house foundations, which that kind of stuff, if you don't know enough about it, it's complicated, it's tricky. There's a lot to know, and he's had the opportunity to do that. I got another buddy, me and him worked on a job site. We were doing contract work, assistant superintendents on a real estate development, luxury homes. And he worked there, and for the longest time, it was funny because a lot of the people that worked with us didn't even think he spoke English. They were like, Corey, you got to go communicate this with him. Kimberly, you got to go communicate this with him. Hey, can you go? Daryl, can you go? And at the end of the day, he knew how to talk. And he told me one day, he's like, yeah, it's easier if they don't know. It's easier if they think I don't speak English. But now he runs his own company. He runs his own company. He runs his own company, his own roofing company, and he does remodel jobs on the side. I mean, it's just, possibilities are endless. Then at the end of the day, don't limit yourself to one thing. Start investing in your future. Like, seriously. Go find, if you're not willing to put in the time to know, to learn, to educate yourself about how the stock market works, how bonds, CDs, I mean, if you don't understand how these things work, go to someone and pay the fee to have them do it for you. It'll be worth them doing it for you and you growing some interest and having something for your future, opposed to you sitting back and doing nothing, or even worse, you sitting back having good intentions and not being able to pull it off because you don't know and you haven't put in the time in to know. If you want to put in the time, I have a recommendation. There's plenty of them out there, and this is not a paid advertisement or anything like that. I am not endorsed by any means, but I have several friends who use several different investment apps and where you can buy into the stock market. There's several different ones that are really good. Right now, I'm using multiple myself. But one of them that I recommend for beginners, for people who don't know a lot, but they want to learn. Okay, so as you're learning, do research. Research. Read. Read about the company. And don't read headlines. Headlines are junk. Means nothing. It's people's opinions and opinions mean nothing. Okay. So do some research. Understand the stock that you want to buy into. Understand the company that you're buying into. Get a grasp of what you're getting a piece of. Then start with something like Stash. It's a free download on your phone. You got a smartphone, download Stash. The reason I say Stash, and again, this is not a paid endorsement. Stash does not know I'm talking about them, nor do they care because they don't know who I am. But Stash. The reason I like Stash is because it's easy. It's very, very user-friendly. And certain apps, you have to actually buy full shares, which sometimes you don't have that kind of money. And even if you have that kind of money, if you're learning, sometimes that kind of money is scary. What's not scary is sacrificing your Big Mac to invest in your future. So today, you know, you're in your car, you're on a break, you know, you're like, I'm on my way to Mickey D's, I'm going to grab me a Big Mac right now. And you're like, you know what? I'm not actually that hungry. Instead of hitting the Mickey D's, I'm going to swing by the house real quick. I'm going to make me a PB&J, turkey sandwich, whatever. Save you some cash. Take that $8 that you was about to. Because you have to, with Stash, you have to invest $5. $5, that's it. You can buy into anything. GM, Coca-Cola, Tesla, Disney, Apple, Amazon, Google. It doesn't matter. They're all there. They're all there. Okay, and you can buy as little as $5. You don't have to buy a $400 share in something. You don't have to buy a $170 share in something. You can buy $5. Five. That is less than what you were going to spend on a Big Mac, my friend. Don't buy the Big Mac. Now, this is a recession. Things look scary. They look scary. There's this quote from, if you've seen Wolf of Wall Street, Matthew McConaughey's character, he plays Mark Hanna. He's the initial one that Jordan Belfort works under. And when him and Jordan are out to lunch, Hanna tells him, he's like, I don't care if you're Warren Buffett or you're Jimmy Buffett. Nobody knows the damn thing. Nobody knows the thing. It's a fugazi, it's a fugazi, it's a woozle wuzzle. The thing is what he was saying is true. It's true, but it's not. What I want to get across is it's true. Nobody knows anything. So don't get bogged down in the hype. Don't get bogged down in what you see in the media. Don't go to Facebook. Don't go to Twitter. Don't even go to YouTube. And I know that's ironic because right now I'm talking to you on YouTube and I'm telling you don't get your advice from YouTube. But see, right here on my YouTube channel, I am not advising you to buy a certain stock. I'm advising you to invest. And I'm telling you to educate yourself before you invest. Now, you want to hit me up, we could talk some tips. We could talk some different things like that. Y'all know how to reach me. If you don't, you should. I've been messaged before. Comment below. Let's discuss. I would love for y'all to drop your tips below. Y'all drop your tips below and let's get some stock tip discussions happening right here in the comment section. And while you're at it, give your boys some love. Hit that like button and subscribe. Ding your bell. Get your notifications because you don't want to miss any more of this content. But what I mean by saying that he's absolutely right is nobody knows. Warren Buffett himself said in an interview, he was talking about all the years that him and Charlie Munger, his right-hand man, if you do not know Munger, then you do not know Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger have been best friends and they've worked side by side with some of the biggest and greatest, most successful investments the world's ever seen. Absolutely incredible. But the thing is Warren said in an interview that there's never been an investment that him and Munger have been in, that they've gone in on, that they 100% knew how it was going to all turn out. There's always something that you don't know. I have a partner that I work with, and he specializes in risk management. And I love having him in my corner because he specializes in risk management. Now, I tend to roll the dice just a little bit more than he does. But that's why me and him work well together, and that's why we balance each other out. He understands currency a lot better than I do, and I understand the stock market. But we're incredible partners. We work amazing together, and we're constantly teaching each other things. But the thing is when you're going to invest, you don't know how it's all going to play out. You don't. What you do know is what the company is. You know, you have the ability, or you should. People buy into companies all the time that they don't know what they're buying into. But you have the ability, especially with technology at the tip of your fingers, to learn. Our society has a demand for access to information, and the information is there. So with all that information, you can learn about your company. You can learn, I mentioned GM earlier. GM's a company. You can learn what GM's up to. You can learn about what the new developments are. You can learn what's going on, what's the cutting edge. Then what you need to do is not stop there. You need to go look at Ford. You need to look at Chevy. You need to look at Toyota. You need to look at Tesla. You need to compare. Why is GM a company that you want to believe in? Or maybe you realize that it's a company you don't believe in. It's totally fine. I'm not here selling you or pitching you a stock, telling you should buy into a certain company. I'm telling you, learn what company you want to buy into and drop a dime. Spend $5, $10, $8 at a time and start building towards your future instead of hitting the drive-through. You know what I'm saying? I had a buddy that I used to work with. Man, I got a lot of stories for y'all tonight, I'm telling you. But I had a buddy, I remember he loved his car. He loved his car. Really silly to me because he didn't have anything special, but it was his, and that's what was special to him. It was his. And I remember one day he told me he was going to lunch. Then as he realized, he reached into his pocket, he had $7 in his pocket. So he came back and he's like, man, I'm still hungry. And I was like, didn't you get lunch? He said, I decided to wash my car. It needed a washing, and I'd rather have my car shiny than food in my belly. And to me, I mean, to a lot of people that's silly. But to him, it wasn't silly. To him, it made perfect sense. So what I'm telling you is to have that mentality. Are you so hungry that you've got to go get that meal? Or are you satisfying a craving or a desire that ultimately is momentary and that money could be better placed somewhere else? Once again, I think this ties back into what I was talking about in the beginning about managing and budgeting and being accountable in your finances. Instead of dropping off here or there or whatever, anytime you can cut some corners, anytime you say, well, I had $100 planned for groceries, I hit the supermarket, I spent $90, I got $10 left over, I could just spend that $10 here or there. No, drop that into your stash. Drop it into your stash. I started doing it, and it snowballed fast. It was crazy how quickly it snowballed. I'm good at it. Not everybody is. But I've also spent countless hours, days, weeks, months, years reading, studying, learning, and understanding the stock market and seeing what drives it. During the pandemic, when everybody was flipping out and the market was going, your boy was riding high. I hit my highest at 24% in the black in my overall portfolio. Not everybody can do that. Well, let me rephrase. Everybody can do it. Not everybody does. Not everybody's willing to put in that time and effort. Not everybody's willing to put in the time and read and understand what they're buying into. Like I said, be creative, be innovative. Whatever you've been putting in the back of your mind saying, oh, well, you know, it'd be really cool if somebody invented this or created this, or what if I opened my own bike shop, or what if I could open my own surf shop, or my own little, you know, taco truck. It's like, whatever silly idea, it may be silly. But if you believed in it, if it was something important to you, if you felt good about it, if just talking about it lit a fire inside your belly, you know what I'm saying? Like, do it. Don't put it off any longer. Dive in with both feet. I mean, get in there and let's do something. Let's do something for yourself. Let's do something for your family. Let's do something for your future. Build now during this recession. Millionaires are born out of recessions. Millionaires are born out of recessions. You've never had a better opportunity than right now. You've never had a better time than right now. Whatever it is you want to do, go after it. Fight with everything you've got. I mean, dig deep and get it. And then with whatever pennies you got left over, drop them in. You don't like stash, don't do stash. Like I said, I'm not pitching for stash. I just think stash is simple. It gives you a breakdown of the company. You can get a little info, a little bio. You can look at where they were when they spawned to, what the value is today. You can look at, the peaks, and you can look at so many different things in Stash. I think it's really user-friendly. And like I said, you can bookmark things. It's like, oh, I like this company, but I'm going to buy into this one today. I'm going to get that one next week. So you can bookmark that one and look at it next week. There's lots of very, very friendly features. So I really dig it. And I think it's beneficial to people who are just learning. Like I said, there's a couple other platforms that I use, but I think they're a little bit more intricate and a little bit more for more advanced stock investors. But I think Stash is a perfect place for people to start. It's free, it's easy. You can start with $5. Corey and Colton, my 7 and 8-year-old boys, already have their own Stash account. For $9 a month, you can set up custodial accounts for 2 children. They ask me on a regular basis, where's my stock at? What's happening with my money? How much do I have now in my stock? It's awesome. Buffett bought his first stock at 11. Colton bought his first at 7. I'm setting my boys up. I want to help set you up. And I want you to set your family up. We're in a recession. But it's not scary. It's not as scary as people build it up to be. People who are building it up to be terrifying are one of 2 people. Either they're people who are terrified themselves and don't know what to do. Those are not the people you need to trust into. Or they're people who are trying to put fear into you so they can ultimately steer you in a direction. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some of them mean well and they're just trying to preemptively prepare you. Just like some parents do with their kids. They strike the fear of God into them so they'll do the best thing for them. Whatever it is, like I said, now's your time. Let's get things popping. Let's do something. This video was a little longer. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. Please leave your comments below. Let's open this discussion up. I really think we could really help each other out. Let's build each other up, not tear each other down. Till next time, it's your boy, CoreyB, and I'm out.